The music world was stunned when news broke of Clem Burke's passing. But this wasn't just another rock star death. It was the end of an era for punk and new wave music. Burke, the legendary drummer for Blondie, died doing what he loved most, performing on stage. Eyewitnesses say he collapsed moments after finishing an explosive drum solo during a reunion show in New York. What most fans didn't know was that Burke had been battling severe arthritis and nerve damage for over a decade, yet still played with more energy than drummers half his age. His final performance, captured on cell phone videos that later went viral, shows a man giving absolutely everything to his craft, right until the very end. Doctors who studied Burke's hands called them medical marvels. Despite playing some of the fastest, most physically demanding rhythms in rock history for nearly 50 years, his hands showed incredible resilience. Medical scans revealed his wrist tendons had developed extraordinary thickness and flexibility, unlike anything physicians had seen before in musicians. Normally, drummers of his intensity would have needed multiple surgeries by age 40, noted Dr. Elena Petrov of the New York Music Medicine Clinic. But Clem's body adapted in ways we still don't fully understand. Even more astonishing, nerve conduction tests showed his reflexes were 30% faster than average, a biological advantage that helped create his signature lightning-fast drum fills. While many rock drummers of the 1970s and 80s became famous for backstage partying, Burke was known for his almost obsessive dedication. Former Blondie members recall finding him practicing rudiments at 4 a.m. before important shows. We'd finish a 3-hour concert drenched in sweat, ready to collapse, recalled guitarist Chris Stein, and Clem would be in the tour bus working on new patterns. This discipline came from Burke's early days playing in New York's underground clubs, where he developed a reputation as the drummer who never missed a beat. Literally, his famous disco-punk hybrid style on Blondie's Heart of Glass was perfected through 14-hour practice sessions, creating a sound that would influence generations of musicians. Perhaps the most telling story of Burke's commitment happened during a 1983 concert in London. Midway through Atomic, a poorly secured cymbal stand sliced deep into his right hand. Rather than stop the show, Burke wrapped the bleeding wound in a bandana and played the remaining 40 minutes of the set. There was blood splattered all over his drum heads, recalled bassist Nigel Harrison. After the show, the ER doctor said he shouldn't have been able to move those fingers, let alone play complex rhythms. This incident became legendary among musicians, symbolizing the almost superhuman dedication Burke brought to every performance. While Debbie Harry became the face of Blondie, Burke's drumming was the engine that powered their success. His innovative fusion of punk aggression with disco precision created a blueprint for the new wave sound that dominated the 1980s. Music historians note that Burke's work on parallel lines essentially invented the dance rock genre, influencing everyone from Duran Duran to the Killers. Yet unlike many flashy drummers, Burke never sought the spotlight. In countless interviews, he deflected praise to his bandmates, once saying, "My job was simple. Keep the train on the tracks so Debbie could work her magic." This humility, combined with his technical brilliance, made him one of music's most respected yet underappreciated figures. Even in death, Burke's impact continues to resonate. Modern drummers like Josh Freese, Foo Fighters, and Sterling Campbell, David Bowie's band, credit Burke with revolutionizing rock percussion. Music schools now teach his signature techniques, particularly his pioneering use of offbeat hi-hat patterns that gave Blondie hits their distinctive groove. Perhaps most telling is that in the days following his passing, social media was flooded with videos of drummers worldwide performing Burke's most famous parts in tribute. From garage bands to symphony halls, the unmistakable Burke beat lives on. Proof that while the man may be gone, the rhythm he created will never fade away. Behind those electrifying performances was a man who paid a steep physical price for his art. Burke's longtime technician revealed that in his final years, the drummer required custom-fitted gloves and heated drumsticks to combat severe joint damage. His hands would swell to twice their normal size after shows, the tech shared. We'd have to soak them in ice baths just so he could move his fingers the next day. Yet Burke refused painkillers, fearing they'd dull his legendary precision. This uncompromising approach came at a cost. Medical reports show he'd developed osteoarthritis in both wrists by age 50, along with permanent nerve damage that left 2 fingers partially numb. When asked why he didn't slow down, Burke famously replied, "The day I can't play with everything I've got is the day they can bury me with my sticks." Tragically, this prophecy came true in the most literal sense. Eyewitness accounts of Burke's last show reveal eerie foreshadowing. Concert-goers reported he played with unprecedented intensity that night, as if somehow sensing it would be his finale. Security footage shows him lingering unusually long after the encore, quietly running his hands over his drum kit like a farewell ritual. The most haunting detail? Burke had secretly instructed his road crew to pack his original 1977 snare drum, the one used on all Blondie's hits for this particular show, breaking his usual routine. He hadn't used that drum in 20 years, recalled his drum tech. When I asked why, he just smiled and said, "For old time's sake." This final performance, now preserved in fan videos, shows Burke playing with the fiery energy of his youth, completing his career with one last perfect show and leaving fans to wonder whether he knew it would be his goodbye. In a raw, emotional interview after Burke's passing, his longtime drum technician Mike Reynolds shared a devastating secret. "For the last 5 years before every show, Clem would ask me the same question. Is today the day I embarrass myself?" Reynolds revealed how Burke lived in terror that his hands would finally betray him on stage. "We developed this secret signal. If I saw him struggling, I'd fake a technical issue to give him a break. But in 12 years, he never once used it." This admission sheds new light on Burke's relentless practice routine. Not just perfectionism, but a desperate race against his own failing body. Reynolds' voice broke as he recalled finding Burke's practice pad backstage after that final show. The worn surface stained with blood no one had noticed during the performance. Burke's personal notebooks, recently uncovered by his family, contain sketches for a revolutionary drumming glove he was developing, one that could have extended careers for musicians worldwide. Patent applications show he'd been quietly working with biomedical engineers to create a pressure-sensitive glove that would prevent joint damage while maintaining feel. He called it Project Guardian, revealed his sister Maureen. He didn't want young drummers to suffer like he had. Tragically, the prototypes were found in his workshop, just weeks away from testing. This discovery adds a poignant new layer to Burke's legacy, not just as a performer, but as an innovator trying to solve the very problems that ultimately claimed his life. Music physicians now believe his design could have prevented the repetitive stress injuries that plague 78% of professional drummers. Burke's road manager recently disclosed that the drummer had been quietly funding music programs in underserved schools since 1992. He'd show up unannounced at inner-city high schools with a van full of drum kits, the manager revealed. Not the cheap stuff, proper professional equipment he bought himself. School records show Burke personally mentored over 300 at-risk youth, with many going on to music careers. What's most surprising, he insisted on complete anonymity, requiring schools to sign agreements never to publicize his involvement. "The kids just knew him as Uncle Clem," said one now successful producer who benefited from the program. "We had no idea we were learning from a rock and roll Hall of Famer until years later." In Burke's home studio, engineers discovered a fully recorded solo album he'd been working on in secret. Bandmates confirmed it contained what may be his most innovative work, a fusion of jazz, punk, and electronic beats unlike anything in his catalog. But in a handwritten note taped to the master tapes, Burke left explicit instructions. "Destroy upon my death. Let people remember me at my best." His widow has honored this request, leaving fans to wonder about the lost masterpiece. Music critics speculate this final act of artistic control perfectly encapsulates Burke's philosophy. "He wasn't about legacy or ego," said Rolling Stone's senior editor. "For Clem, it was always about the purity of the moment when stick hits drum. Nothing before or after mattered." Clem Burke's death forces us to ask difficult questions about the cost of artistic excellence. Was his ability to play through pain inspirational or concerning? Should we admire his dedication or question why he pushed his body beyond reasonable limits? One thing is certain, Burke's influence on music can't be measured just in records sold or awards won. It lives on every time a drummer plays that iconic opening beat to Call Me, or when a new musician discovers the power of punk rhythm. As fans around the world mourn his passing, perhaps the greatest tribute would be to remember not just his music, but the incredible passion that fueled it, right up to his final unforgettable performance. The next time you hear a Blondie song, pay special attention to those drums. Behind every snare hit and cymbal crash was a man who gave his entire being to the rhythm. In an age of digital perfection and studio trickery, Clem Burke stood as proof that raw human talent, pushed to its absolute limits, could create something truly magical. What do you think? Was his approach to music inspiring or reckless? Share your memories of Clem's incredible career in the comments below.